Welcome to the Fight Night Daily podcast. It's the last knockings of the last crescendo. What a night we had. Let's go to the very top of the card first of all. Artur Beterbiev, Dmitry Bivol. Dmitry Bivol gets all the marbles back. What a contest, gents, and thoroughly deserved, I think, for Dmitry Bivol. Spence.
Yeah, listen, it was one of those, it was arguable, it could have gone one way or the other. I think I had it 115, 114 in Artur Beterbiev's favour. It was one of those fights, there was a couple of swing rounds. You know, it's what you liked. You couldn't argue with the decision, the way that it went, like the first one as well.
Exactly.
You know, the first one was exactly the same. We picked Beterbiev in the first one. If it went Bivol's way, like many people felt, we would have accepted it. But what we got there was, did you ever think, John, I'll throw this to you, did you ever think that we was going to get a better fight than the one we got in October? Because I didn't think you could better that, but we just witnessed that.
Well, it was certainly the level of the first one, if not better. You know, I mean, it was outstanding. I fancied Bivol to win tonight, but not in the manner that he did. I thought that he would be faster, more accurate, and that he would dominate, whereas he was absorbing first time around. But he was outstanding, wasn't he? He really was.
He's got incredible cojones. Beterbiev, like he called him a monster so many times tonight on the broadcast, he's a machine who keeps coming at you. And Bivol found a way of stopping that robotic machine, those threshing punches. I had it 7-5 to Beterbiev in rounds as well, but I'm so pleased that Bivol got the decision. How did you have it?
I had it dead level.
Well, there you go.
Bivol made a great start. I gave him the first 3 rounds, but then Beterbiev got on a roll.
He did.
And it looked as though he was going to blow him away. But then fair play to Bivol, you know, into the second half of the fight. And halfway, I think by common consent, Beterbiev was winning. And then somehow back came Bivol. Brilliant.
The beauty of it, and we've said it a few times on the broadcast for both of you, and I'm going to ask you right now, we're going to get a trilogy now, a trilogy that means something, rounds 25 to 36, which we've all wanted because these two modern masters deserve it. Pick a winner in the third fight.
Well, I'll tell you where this trilogy lands, by the way. You're talking about Barrera Morales, you're talking about Gatti Wall, you're talking about the greatest trilogies of all time, and we're going to be very fortunate to get that, because if you look at these two light heavyweights, take these two light heavyweights out of the equation, there's no one else to go with these guys. They're leagues above, so the only real fight that we could have is that third one, the trilogy.
And who wins?
Draw.
A draw. It'd be a fitting end. Maybe they do a fourth fight.
Do you know what? It's a tough call, that one, because as we've seen, the 24 rounds there, it's an argument for both guys to have won that fight. I think that who wins that fight, it all depends on how the training camps go, the build up to it. So we can't call that right now, and that's not getting splinters in your arse, sitting on the fence. That is a case of, you know, it's that close.
But it's so fitting that the two most technically adept, the toughest men, neither of them has been down, neither of them actually looked hurt during the fight. They had momentary reactions to big punches and combinations. They are two extraordinary people. We've witnessed something very special there tonight, John.
Yeah, don't they take punches? You know, you talk about the technical skill in dishing it out, but the sheer bravery and conditioning of being able to absorb what they did tonight was just admirable.
Martin Bakole was too heavy in your view, too late notice. Joseph Parker did everything he had to do tonight, Spencer, and deserves a world title shot next.
Yeah, totally does. You know, I think that Benchlam, Boxer, Billy Nelson, they took a calculated gamble on Bakole coming in. And because they done that, that was the intrigue in going into this contest, because you go, a fit Martin Bakole, you put him in probably as favourite against Joseph Parker, or a lot of the heavyweights out there, or it's an even fight, a 50-50 fight. So when the fight was announced, you think, do they know something we don't know? Is he in shape? And they're saying, oh, he's over in Congo, which he was, but is he in some form of shape because his IBF mandatory challenger is going in against a Jogba for the right to win against a winner, of which now looks likely Daniel Dubois versus Alexander Usyk. So there was a high stake there, and they chose to put him in, which, looking at it in hindsight now, and John, I don't know what you thought. We thought that when he walked into the ring. I thought, why would you put that position at risk? Yeah, I know you want to be there. You know, you dare to be great, and you've been frozen out, and you know this is now your opportunity. But bloody hell, man, he was not in shape, was he?
It was just ridiculous, wasn't it? You know, and it was never remotely a contest. Joseph Parker did what he had to do, and fair play to him, and looked good in the process. But Bakole shouldn't have been in there.
But should they be putting Parker in with Dubois now? In a few months' time, he'd sustained no damage at all. Why don't they remake that fight? Because that. If poetic justice was served, that's what Parker deserves.
Absolutely, of course he does. What happened out here has been an absolute disaster, not just for Daniel Dubois, but for Joseph Parker as well. He wanted that shot at the world title. He gets, he defends his WBO interim title, but he wanted that shot. He deserves that shot. I know Alexander Usyk was here. I know he's been calling out for now the undisputed, and it's a mouth-watering contest for the likes of, Turkey and Riyadh season to get the undisputed again. It took 25 years to get that one, but if justice is served, really, it should be Parker
But
next.
it probably won't, John, because as Usyk told me ringside when I got to chat to him, he thinks it's Dubois next.
Yeah, I think we all know that, don't we? I think in all probability that's going to be coming up in May, and Parker, he might be massively disappointed, and people might look at it and say, "Oh, isn't that unfair?" But I'm afraid to say that's boxing, and he's going to have to wait.
Shaka Stevenson against Josh Padley. Josh Padley was the loser, but he was the winner here with the crowd. And Shaka Stevenson was the winner, but he was the loser here with the crowd.
Absolutely. Who expected Josh Padley to get into round 9, and he was having his moments there. And Shaka Stevenson, and maybe the lack of power there, the crowd didn't appreciate it. And that safety first, approach that he took where he was taking no risks, a pound-for-pound star, no disrespect to Josh Padley, who's coming off a great win against Mark Chamberlain. We're talking about levels here, and we're talking about an Olympic silver medalist, free-weight world champion. You expect him to put on a little show,
He didn't look 4 levels above him, did he?
He didn't turn the screw, he didn't pick it up, he kept it, and I think that's been his problem, and why, John, he's not the superstar that he should be.
I think he's got so much talent. I think his boxing is terrific, but he just doesn't have that that excitement factor which really gets the crowd going, and that's why he's not a superstar.
Yeah. Carlos Adames put up a brilliant performance against Hamzaerz. What we saw, we all thought Hamzaerz lost that fight, and that Adames was very, very adept on the night. The judges scored it a split draw. So how do you feel about it?
Well, I think Shiraz is lucky to have got out of that with a draw. They'll probably do it again.
But with a broken hand, by the way, early in the fight.
Listen, that come to light for us, didn't it? Because, let's have it right here. Let's not beat around the bush here. There was one win in there for me, and that was Carlos Adames. I've scored enough fights in my time to go. I scored it by 6 rounds to Adames, right? I thought he was nicking the rounds. I thought he was being very negative. We couldn't work it out, and that totally makes sense. Yeah. Hamzaerz broke his hand, as Frank Warren said, early in them rounds, and that's not an excuse. That is a legitimate thing. He broke his hand. He's gone to hospital now to get that, try and get that repaired or get it looked at, x-rayed, etc. But there was a definite break. So that makes for the negative performance from Hamzaerz. We need to see the fight again, because the boxing gods were with him tonight. He should have lost that fight.
Let's go to Virgil Ortiz and Israel Madrimov, John. A grueling, brutal fight. And I thought Madrimov was brilliant, but I really do think Virgil Ortiz is special.
Well, Ortiz, he was up against a difficult one tonight, wasn't he? Because Madrimov was all wrong for him, really.
Yeah.
He's a mover, he's good off the back foot, and he's got the skills to make him look bad. And for some of the fight, he did that. But the power that he produced to eventually put him away was very, very high class.
Agit Cabel put in an amazing performance after a difficult first round against Jang. He took it to him. We wondered whether he should be gambling. He went to the body, and in the end, he broke up the big Chinaman and stopped him. What a performance, Spencer Oliver.
Well, here it is, right? Agit Cabel, I've got to apologise. I'm never going against you again. I went against you against Makhmudov, and you turned him over. I went against you against Frank Sanchez, and you turned him over. And I went against you against Zhang. I apologise, because you proved me wrong, and he deserves...
Everyone's underrated him.
Absolutely, but, the manner that he done that was sensational. You looked at that performance, John, and you say, he lives with any heavyweight out there now and gives any heavyweight a nightmare. You don't get body punches like that in the heavyweight division no more.
Yeah, he's got fast hands, doesn't he? The way he puts combinations together and such like. He's good on his day. He's going to give anybody trouble. He's up there. He's announced himself.
And he's got a great chin, and I thought he looked tremendous tonight.
Yeah.
Finally, We topped the card with light heavyweights. We tailed the card with light heavyweights. Arguably, it was the fight of the night. The performance of the night, Callum Smith was absolutely brilliant against Joshua Buatti.
He was outstanding. Buatti was the favourite. He was quite a strong favourite. I think that most judges thought that he was going to win it, because I think a lot of people thought that Callum's best days were behind him. You know, fights like the Canelo fight had taken it out of him, and I didn't really believe that he was capable of getting up to that sort of a level again. But the body attacks he produced were fantastic, and the way in which he stayed with it and eventually sapped the resolve of Joshua Buatti, I think was terrific. And you know, he was delighted at the end. 34 years old, a lot of people were ready to sort of write obits on a career, and he came through and showed that he's still one fine fighter.
Just to throw it ahead, Callum Smith and Anthony Yard?
Oh, absolutely. You know, I think the fight that we've all been talking about for years now is Joshua Buatti, Anthony Yard, and it's a fight that should have happened, and guess what? Now we're not going to get it, and we should have got it. You know, it's a fight that was a huge fight, and I think Team Buatti are going to be gutted now that they never made that one, because he would have got a lot more money there than against Callum Smith. And I agree with John. I think that we all thought the desire, you know, had maybe left Callum Smith at that sort of level when he's coming off the, you know, Canelo loss, and then you see the Artur Beterbiev loss. Just highlights how good Beterbiev is, by the way, in the manner that he dealt with Callum Smith. But you just looked at that and you go, what's he got left? The best Callum Smith, yeah, we would pick him as a winner, but we all thought that horse had rode off, you know. We all thought that ship had sailed. He proved us all wrong. Grit, heart, determination, fight of the night, without a doubt. And the main event, by the way, was sensational. But you can't take away from that first fight. The light heavyweights delivered tonight.
They really did. I'm going with the last fighter's fight of the night,
listen,
because
those
two
way,
guys,
it was sensational.
But 7 fights delivered. Our 7-hour broadcast hopefully delivered. We're in our last crescendo with our voices, by the way. He's got nothing left. He's got nothing left. Spencer Oliver, John Rawling, myself, Gareth A Davies. I hope you've enjoyed it. We will see you again very soon indeed.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.